Welcome everyone. Tonight we're decoding probably one of the most powerful and deliberately crafted images in global media. We're covering The Economist. This was the original cover from 2026 and this is the year ahead. Yep.
So who is The Economist? And the quick truth of that is, did you already know that the Rothschild family had a stake in The Economist, or is that new information for you? Is this your first time seeing this cover, or have you been following it for years? Do you think the symbol on every cover is deliberately placed, or do you think that we're reading too much into it? So there's some questions to think about while we're kind of decoding the cover.
Totally.
Okay, so the key core theme points of what we see on the cover of this Economist of the year ahead 2026 is a world under pressure and transition. So systems are reaching tipping points, interdependence of crises, war, tech, economy, climate. The entire composition spirals toward the cake, everything being consumed by the central system and nothing escaping the vortex.
And we also, I should mention, we did do I did a decode on this magazine cover just before the year kicked off. They released it in December. It was actually released early in December, which had significant meaning too. They always release it on a particular date, and this year it was about 7 days early.
Right. Might have been astrological.
I think it was. There was. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was a lot going on just at the end of last year. So so we have done a decode on this, but it was time to do an update because the world's gone pretty crazy this year, as the last few have been. And kicking off with the Iran war and all that kind of stuff, we thought we'd come back and do a kind of quarter of the year or a third of the year in decode on it. And we might come back later and do one at the end of the year as well, because it looks like, looking at it, you can see the thing behind us, the album cover or the magazine cover, it's pretty busy and a lot of significant things that we're going to get through today.
So part of the idea of The Economist is that it isn't chaos, it's a very deliberate map, right?
Yeah, totally.
And so does this look like random chaos to you, or does it look like everything's been carefully organised? That's a big question.
Well, knowing the last covers from like years ahead, there's some amazing covers from this magazine, and it's uncanny how many times they got stuff right. Well, they are the Rothschilds. They basically set up the world, so it's not surprising.
So the big question, I think, is why would you think everything spirals inward towards the cake, the big cake in the middle?
Massive year for America this year. 250 years since independence. So that's a focal point, and we're coming up to
4th of July,
which is an important time to be doing this decode for that reason, because 4th of July might be something really good, or it could be something like a false flag. We're revving up to see what happens.
And it's interesting to see coming out of that cake, we've got shackles and, that liberty, that freedom, that liberty is being chained to the cake. So that's interesting for the event side of things.
And definitely looks like this is an American issue. The flag's right behind the hand. And that could be a Marxist hand as well. That's kind of like that
like
symbol
revolution.
as well. Yeah, that kind of thing. But it's definitely stifled by the chain which goes into the cake.
Yep.
So it's definitely connected to around that. And
that time.
Like we were doing another decode, which probably went on for a little bit too long last week. And it had a lot of significant events saying that civil war's coming to America between now and 2027. Whether that happens, we'll see. But there'll be an anti-war movement. So that kind of fist might be something linked to that kind of thing, where the people want their freedom, they don't want war. But it doesn't matter, you're handcuffed to the system and independence and all that kind of stuff. Probably due to false flags, they'll probably have a lot of equivalent military or ICE or whatever running around protecting everyone from the terrorists or whatever. So interesting times, I'm sure.
So what does that tell us about who sits at the centre of power? If this is a map, who do you think drew it and who is it drawn for? So I think that's obvious when we think about the fact that the Rothschilds have a big stake in it, and so do the Agnelli family. So that's interesting. They're another family you don't hear much about, do you?
No, and I think they actually brought another 20-something% of this, or Rothschilds sold 21 more percent.
And they own 43.4% of shares, and the name that really matters obviously is the Rothschilds. So if you're going to ask who drew the map, we can tell you that they're behind it. We don't know whether they drew it or whether they influenced it, but they're definitely a part of it.
And it makes some pretty pennies. Nearly $500 million a year the Economist makes as a
Yeah.
publication. That's a lot of money, 424 million. So
Pounds. So
oh,
that
that's
would
pounds.
be, yes.
So that's like in Australian money, that's ridiculous.
800,000 or something, yeah.
Yeah, that's well, that's
Crazy.
million. That's heading to the
Yeah,
billion.
that's what I mean.
Not even thousands.
Oh,
we're
yeah,
heading to the
800
millions,
million. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Sorry.
so we're heading for the billion kind of thing. Yeah, which is pretty crazy, really. But it's definitely a rich person magazine. It's not something I would actually read, but I can't help myself but always go and look at the covers. They release them monthly, and the yearly that we're looking at today is the big one usually.
So I guess the obvious thing that comes out is that we knew that there was, at the beginning, we knew that there was going to be some kind of war. Like that was obvious with all the tanks,
Yes.
with the, the shipments, with all of that, with, rockets flying into their missiles. It definitely looks like war, right?
Yeah, it's
Okay, so the top third, the command layer. So we're looking at the top third of the picture, and the giant blue fist dead center at the top, which we've just spoken about. Raw power, authoritarian control, a clenched grip over the world, which is true, like it is at the top of the world.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, blue establishment, globalist, NATO, Western control. So the blue and the red being very significant here, I think.
And for the American flag colours as well, and for Republican, Democrat, and for everything that's going on.
West and East, the red being communist and
Yeah.
blue being like the Western nations, that type of thing.
And it's kind of funny that there's red balloons coming off the cake. And what's that song, that German song, the 99 Balloons?
Yeah,
thing?
99 Luftballons.
Could that have any significance?
Possibly.
I doubt it.
I
There's
don't
not
know.
99 balloons, maybe. But there are a lot of balloons around the actual whole
And
thing
they are
as well.
red, the
and
red
they're all
balloon.
red. I can't see any blue ones. There's no
That
blue
is
balloons.
true. Does that mean
'Cause
that
there's some
they
down the bottom.
celebrate? Does it overshadow the American celebrations, or is it a Republican victory? Who knows?
Yeah, that's the thing, because that's also Republicans' colour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's almost an even mix of red and blue on the whole chart, like on the whole picture.
There is.
So that's kind of quite level and even. And a lot of white. So a lot of very deliberate stuff, like around the hand, looking at all the fist pumping with the shackled. It's to the right of that, it looks like the two rockets, they kind of look like war rockets.
They do look like missile hands.
They look
don't
like
they?
missiles, when to the left of it...
Looks like a mission one.
Yeah, it could be the Artemis 2, which is currently spinning around the moon, apparently. So I was looking at that this morning. So and then behind that, it looks like the Bezos rocket, the one that looks like a dick.
Yeah, that's true.
That definitely looks like Bezos. So to the left looks like commercial NASA sort of stuff and private space exploration people, but the other side of that fist definitely look like missiles. They don't look like going to the moon rockets at all. They definitely look like attack sort of stuff. So it's weird that there's two types of missiles going on. Kind of space exploration and, in theory, growth of humanity and exploration. And on the other side, it's just war and
True.
that kind of thing.
I think the cross swords directly below forming an X, two sides, but the same fist controls both blades, which is very interesting, isn't it?
It is, and the swords are different too, like the handles are different.
They are.
So I don't know whether anyone who knows anything here about swords could tell me whether there's a significant difference between the one with the kind of hand protector and the one that doesn't really have the kind of
that'd be
metalwork on it.
interesting, wouldn't it?
Maybe that means something, but definitely crossed over the stock trading chart, which is heading down.
Yeah, well, it's obviously in the red, which
Yeah.
isn't good, and it's volatile.
Absolutely.
Right? Volatile, but then it trends down at the end, right?
And it looks like Trump's actually like his hands over
Over
that.
it. He's
like
controlling
in
it.
control of why it's going up or down, which at the moment I think it's
Yeah.
going down. And his tie's kind of up, so he looks quite flustered.
Yeah.
He doesn't look calm compared to people like, say, even the Chinese president.
He looks calm.
Yeah, he looks pretty calm on the other side there. Putin looks a bit worried. Netanyahu looks like he's having a tantrum or something. But the Chinese leaders look quite calm, and yeah, Trump looks a little bit frazzled, almost like a side kind of smirk sort of thing going on.
And there's missiles and fighter jets, obviously around as well.
Everywhere.
Everywhere,
Tanks.
and tanks. And so that's like basically saying war is the trigger that sets everything else in motion, and the chaos flows downward from these weapons, if you can see that. That's what I see anyway, is that the weapons are kind of around the top part, and then underneath there's a whole lot of chaos.
Yeah.
And so war kind of sets that trend. And we know that that's already started at the end of February. So we've already seen the wheels in motion for that, but everything's about to kind of unfold in the middle of the year too, because that's when we have the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's the big
and
date.
a few other events going on, that are going to significantly impact the outcomes of these, I guess.
Totally. So if you're just joining, we're doing this live Decode on the Economist magazine, the world ahead for 2026, being that we're a third way through the year now, it's looking significant. And who else do you think, like if we were just looking at the people on there, I think we can say comfortably, I reckon it's Netanyahu to the far left, Putin, Chinese President Trump, is it Modi?
Yeah, the
Indian
president. Yep.
Now the girl
Zelensky
there,
up the top.
Yeah, Zelensky, and he's all by himself, and he looks like he's got binoculars, like he can't see anything from where he is.
He's trying to figure it out.
He's too far away from the people who he basically needs, which is about right. I think at the moment Ukraine, they're stripping Ukraine of some of their weapons to send over to the Middle East, so he'd be feeling pretty put out at the moment.
Does anyone notice that him and Putin are wearing the same colours?
They are wearing a blue, and the rest are black.
And so does that mean he gets that Ukraine Russia does have a victory over Ukraine, perhaps?
Maybe.
Well, that's what they're predicting anyway, because if you look at Xi and Trump, they're wearing the same coloured tie.
Yeah. And
so they were both in control of this in some way.
And I think it's interesting that Netanyahu's siding or looks to be on the side of Putin.
He's got that blue tie, doesn't he? He's not wearing a full blue suit, but he's got a blue tie.
But he's on their side, when I would expect him to be on Trump's side,
Have a red tie, but why is
for some reason
China
he's over
got a
on that.
red tie?
Yeah, I don't know why they both got red. It'll be significant, I just don't understand.
I think it's because nothing's what it seems, and that they are actually working together behind the scenes, and there's more to that than we would know. So they're showing you that subtly that this is really what they're all doing, so that China actually does have a foot in America, and they both share aspects of the agenda, because really if it was to play out the way that you would expect, you would think that China would step in and tell America to stop this war and, maybe actually make that a thing instead of just saying passive things, you better stop. They would actually really be strong about that, but they haven't really done that, have they?
No, and Iran's still getting supplied container loads, shiploads of cargo from China and Russia.
Yeah.
They'd be guaranteed to be full of missile parts and drones, but America hasn't pulled any over. So everyone's kind of still standing back, but it's not like they're standing back. It's like they're in the same club.
Yep.
And they need them to be armed, otherwise the war would be over. So
that's true.
So on the other side, near Trump, I reckon that's the Indian Prime Minister.
Yep.
Modi? What is it?
I'm not sure, but
Modi,
yeah.
Modi or something like that. But I'm not sure about the girl in the red. It's on Trump's side.
Yeah, so perhaps
India.
it is his... maybe it's his secretary.
The press secretary.
The press secretary, Caroline, maybe.
Maybe.
Or it could be
I don't think it's Kirk. I don't think it's his missus.
Her hair seems to maybe show that though.
Yeah.
Erica Kirk's hair
She's
is
wearing
more like
full
that.
red.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's...
Very much Trump aligned.
Throw it in the comments. We're a little bit stumped on this one. Who do you think the red woman is? Standing near India and America, basically, and that kind of thing. So we're not 100% sure. There's about 3 or 4 people that could be.
True.
But not sure. What do you guys think? Because I don't know.
Because if it is Erica Kirk, it'll be showing that she's definitely placed there for a reason. That she's on Trump's side. She's definitely, backing everything that's going on and influencing events too.
They gave her some job at the Space Force.
Did they?
Yeah, she's like a commander in Space Force. It's so weird.
Right.
But also, there's a woman in Europe. I can't remember who we were talking about. Anyway, there was some leader in Europe.
The Italian Prime Minister?
Yeah, the Italian Prime Minister. But I don't know about that. But what do you guys think anyway? We'll leave that with you guys. You probably know more than us. I'm not sure
I think it is possibly Erica Kirk, or the press secretary. That's my 2 cents. Just because the colour red, she's standing kind of beside Trump. She's directing things.
Yeah.
So it seems to be possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ornate kind of Viking-looking dragon ship on the top right.
Yeah, look, in the original Decode, this one threw everyone sideways. It was probably the biggest comment that was getting thrown around in the comments was, is that Greek? Is it Persian? What is that kind of decoration on the sail? But it
Yep.
seems to go back to Persian. The boat's style seems to be Persian, which Persian's the original Iranian area.
And it seems to be that they're getting things through the water.
Definitely got vases full of something.
Full of something, possibly representing oil, or
Yeah.
being able to drag things through themselves without opposition.
Yeah, or they're running away, or
Yep.
it's Arab states leaving the area with their riches, because you wouldn't just put water in a vase like that. That kind of vase that the guy's holding up, almost offering it, they would be very expensive, the equivalent, and very hard to make. So you wouldn't just go putting nothing in it. It'd have to hold riches or
But
something.
it could
to
be
it.
old money, old power, old bloodlines as well entering the new war. You know how they're coming into this new phase. So it seems
which
very
is true,
old
'cause
that
they've never really
controlled things for a
yeah.
long time.
And there's a guy on the back of the boat with his hands in what is like some sort of container. He seems to be busily playing around with whatever's in that bowl or whatever it is. So definitely, they're touching stuff, their material stuff in their hands, and they're kind of under full sail and going somewhere. That's the sail to me though, like the guy in the back holding the vase, that to me looks like the back of the boat.
Yeah, it does to me too.
So
yeah.
why the wind is blowing the wrong way then? Because see how the sail
It's pushing.
it'd be going backwards.
Yeah, but he might be going. He might be sitting there for a reason because he's got to guard whatever it is he's got in the bag or the pot. The very
But
old.
you see how the sail's going
Yes,
this way?
yeah, it's blowing
it'd
that
blow
way.
it backwards.
Yeah.
So in theory, that boat is going backwards.
But then
it should be puffed the other way because that spiral thing on
Yeah.
the front's the front.
But it could be saying that he needs to sit there to go to guard that whatever he's got. Looks like he's
whatever's in
very
the
protective
bowl
of
or
it.
whatever he's got. Yeah.
But it's old world meets new world, and the red balloons too. Like right next to it, they're going past. So the
Yeah,
red balloons over
yeah.
there. I think that goes back to the Chinese spy balloons. Do you remember the Chinese spy
could,
balloon
maybe.
incident? Which is surveillance disguised as something innocent. And so they're being watched anyway, even if they think they're passing passage or bringing their, hiding their wealth, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So it's sort of like there's a lot of automation. There's a lot of robots.
Yeah.
And some of them look like they're Amazon kind of robots carrying boxes, delivering things.
So I guess the big thing, just for that part with the fist and the cake and the ship, is like that giant blue fist. Whose fist do you think it might be that's rising up? Is it the people in America?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it the people saying, no, we want to fight for liberty, we want to fight for what we stand for? The sword forms an X as well, with one controller above. Can you think of any current world conflicts that fit this pattern? Obviously, we can all think of a conflict that's happening at the moment.
Always a few going on.
Yes.
We've got all the players are here, except we don't have any of I can't see any Iranian-looking guys apart from the boat. Apart from that, I don't see anything Persian or whatever.
Although that we do have the reference to shipping containers being shot at.
Yes. Well, the shipping container is actually shooting at the cake, which is very significant. It's
Is it shooting or is it getting shot at? That seems to be going directly.
It's doing a bit of both, but that one is coming
guns.
out of the gun and hitting
Yeah,
the
they
cake.
have guns,
It's nearly hitting the cake. So there's guns hidden inside the containers. So that's very sneaky.
That is interesting.
That's a false flag. Like that's your classic false flag. A commercial shipping liner that would never be inspected normally could have hidden missiles or guns in it. And there are actually, in the original Decode I did put some information in around that there are Russian-made containers which can hold either hundreds of drones that are, got explosives in them.
Yep.
Or it can actually carry like 4 very large missiles in
Or
a
would this be
40-foot container.
Hormuz? How they're going to try to get through Hormuz?
I don't know.
Straight.
That to me looks like a shipping container that's shooting at the cake, meaning that America's going to be attacked.
Well, that's, I think,
And
the
the
Strait of
250s
Hormuz
there.
is what's holding them together.
Well, could be.
And they're trying to get goods through, aren't they?
Yeah,
through
well,
that
at the
strait.
moment, yes.
And so there's Iran stopping that. They're controlling the strait. So if there is a way to do it, maybe that simply means that, if you try to go through the strait, we're going to shoot you. Essentially, it could be that simple.
I feel it's like, because it's in shipping containers, that's sneaky.
Yep.
Iran would just like send their little speedboats to go and attack you. They wouldn't be using something
Well,
like
they've got
that.
mines under there that are sneaky.
Yeah.
So that's,
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's also shooting the cake with 250. So
Yeah, right, okay.
that's like, it's shooting at the cake, like
Yes,
at
at
America
the event,
pretty much.
at like an event.
And
yeah.
maybe the timing is that a false flag hits on the 4th of July this year. because we're not too far from that kind of part of the year to hitting to the middle of it. So very significant. If anything happens around that date, that would be very uncanny. And like the Rothschilds who own this magazine, it's pretty much like their script for what they want.
Well, that's why we get a piece of the intel so that we can kind of try to decode it to give us some insight, I guess. They tell you what they're going to do.
Absolutely, and that is the trick, that they do tell us what they want to do, and this covers the perfect example because of the people who own it. Very, very rich people own it, and there's not been a bad or a good cover, but some of the ones that we've decoded in the past were uncannily accurate as well. I don't think they're predicting things. I think they're just telling us what's happening for sort of going on.
So there's satellites that appear on both sides of the image, and what does it mean when both opposing sides have equal surveillance capability? That's interesting. They're on both sides, so they're both able to surveil each other. So does that create more paranoia, or is that?
It will, absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on. There's so much space race stuff going on this year. That's like Trump formed the Space Force or whatever they were called. So they've he's separated off a whole kind of War Department for space, and everyone seems to be clamouring to get weaponized space, basically. So
true. Yep, there is the whole space thing.
Because the one, if you look, there's like one up the top there. If you see the little arrow that we're pointing to things with, there's one up the top, and it looks like it's just surveilling. But then if you go across to the container ship, the's a satellite which is actually shooting at the container ship.
There is true. And
it's got a laser coming out, hitting the ship, on that side. So
there's fire too, like around.
A lot of fire on the horizon.
Yeah.
Like lots of just distant fire. That would kind of mean war
missiles
everywhere.
In the air, couldn't it? Missiles in the air, like that. Where some other predictions have said that there'll be what do they call them? Aerial missiles, like where they go up into the atmosphere.
Yeah, there was like tactical nukes. High atmospheric.
Seems to be like that it's on the edge, on the atmosphere.
And it's also kind of like the whole world's involved somehow, because there's so much chaos.
Looks like
and there's bombs dropping.
Yeah, there are bombs dropping outside of where the satellites are.
And not in the main diagram. So around the edges, to me, would say that there's drones doing stuff everywhere.
What is this?
That's an automated robot. So Boston,
AI and
Boston Robotics makes these dog robots.
Yeah.
And this year they've had massive breakthroughs with them being able to outrun humans. They put guns on them, and they're making them so if you had an army of those things, it would be hell scary. These things running faster than you can with a machine gun mounted to them. So there's a lot of that stuff going on in the background where war's changing from the traditional bombs and aeroplanes into drones and these, robots that are armed. So we're very much in 2026 at a change, which everyone's seen with the Iranian war. America brought all their billion-dollar radar units and all their really expensive $5 million missiles, shooting them off like they're free. But Iran's basically running this war with just cheap drones. A $5 million missile is shooting down a $10,000 drone. I can tell you just simple maths whose bank account's going to empty first. It's simple mathematics. And I think Iran, with that conflict that we get at the moment, they've been arming up for 47 years. When America was just playing, silly buggers, just making high-tech stuff, which, against drones doesn't look to be that good.
So if the top third represent where power lives, who do you think is really running the show in 2026? So that's the big question, is all the representation of those people in power. That's the big question, is who's going to be running the show. So it looks like they've all got big parts to play, obviously.
Again, it looks like Trump's kind of by himself over there with a bit of India and the woman who, if you guys could help us know what that one
I
was.
do think it's
Zelensky's been pushed right back into the distance, so he's almost not a part of it. He's got binoculars on him because he's so far away. But there definitely looks like over on the left side here, Netanyahu, Putin, and the Chinese president are all mates hanging out, although Netanyahu's looking a bit pissed off.
I just look at their symbols, like the red ties and the blue ties and the blue clothes. It even looks like the Indian Prime Minister's wearing blue in the end.
Yes.
Which is interesting, but standing next to Trump. So it's almost like they're not choosing a side, but or pretending perhaps to be on Trump's side, but actually being blue. So
Totally.
that's interesting. Standing next to Trump, but wearing blue.
And the hand gestures are funny on the Indian
Yeah.
president. It's a little bit like,
I'm not sure.
almost like he's yelling or something, because he's very
Yes.
animated. Like the woman next to him's just not. She's just...
And he's standing between them both.
Yeah,
She's
he's
fully
got, like,
red,
arms
he's blue.
moving around
Yeah.
everywhere. So he's very animated. When the rest of them, Netanyahu's a bit animated. He looks a bit pissed. But the Indian Prime Minister definitely looks like he's shaking. He's moving a lot.
It does look like there'll be an alliance between Netanyahu and Putin, though. That's sitting there.
They're on the back.
And
Netanyahu
blue.
looks a bit angry when...
But they're wearing blue.
Yeah.
A blue tie, and whereas the Chinese president and Trump are wearing red ties. So interesting. So fighter jets, ongoing militarization across major powers, explosion, debris, proxy wars, fragmented global order. We can see that already. We can see civil unrest, protests, populism rising with the big fist coming out. I think that really does symbolize that. Two sides around the swords. So Trump and Modi on one side, Putin and Xi on the other. A third figure, which they're trying to figure out who that might be. But possibly they're saying possibly Hungary's leader is another thing that people have thrown up.
All right.
But I'm not sure about that. If you think that could be Hungary's leader, then yep, let us know. And magnifying glasses on both sides. The truth is visible to everyone. That's what I think that means. Like the magnifying glasses are like...
Oh, so those red things are magnifying glasses. All right.
Yeah, don't you reckon?
Yeah, possibly.
And we've got scopes as well, saying everything's visible.
Yeah, and even Zelensky's got binoculars, so more visual things.
Like
and
everything's...
there's
you can see
submarines
everything.
with the periscopes sticking out.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of lenses in this thing.
And I think that symbolises that everything's there and visible for you to see if you want to look. You've got to look through the magnifying glass, though, to see it.
Is that what the red pills everywhere are?
Possibly.
There's a lot of pill colours going on here. So
there are some blue pills too.
There's some black, blue, red, blue. So the pills are a real mix. There's a real lot going on.
Yep, it's very interesting with the pills.
And
Swallow the info,
Is that kind of like a metaphor like the Matrix, the red and blue pills?
That's what I wondered.
Or is that just pharma? Because there's also pill
Medications.
capsules. Like down the bottom there's a big pill capsule, like whatever they call those things.
Yep.
That hold heaps of pills. So I don't know if it's just a pure pharma
Yeah,
reference.
like the tablet box.
Because there is tablets all around a lot too. So maybe it's just a pharma reference. And unfortunately there's a couple of needles still. So there's two big needles down the bottom, which is kind of unfortunate. I don't like seeing that.
But I still think, to sum it up, both sides seem to be working together, and that's why we have the crossover of all the colours. So questions for you guys in the audience, what you think, because we don't know everything, we're just decoding. Is Trump and Modi on one side, Putin and Xi on the other? Does this match what you're seeing play out in the news right now? The third mystery figure to world leaders, who do you think that might be? We've asked you that already.
The red girl.
Yeah, who is that? The magnifying glasses are on both sides, meaning the truth is right there. So why do you think people aren't seeing it? I mean, that's been a big question for a long time.
For thousands of years, no one seems to see anything that's going on in your face. But anyway.
So if both sides are actually working together, particularly when you're seeing like Netanyahu and Putin together, particularly when you're seeing Xi and Trump together with red ties, they might be standing on other sides, but they actually are working together. What does that mean for the wars we're watching on the news? Do you think they're proxy? Do you think they're made deliberately to, make you feel that there is real conflict between nations when actually there is a bigger agenda? Maybe,
because there's a lot of money everywhere too. Like there's notes that, well, I'm guessing it's money because it looks like the right shape to be money. And we're remembering that BRICS is a thing now, and that if this war destabilises America much more, and the dollar is not of interest to people anymore, if they collapse the dollar. We've also got the BRICS relationship, which people like Netanyahu would jump ship any day as long as he's, gain wealth, and whatever, and power. So, it's that play out this year too, which I can't really see anything BRICS-wise in there, really, but
the money,
it is a background thing. There is a lot of money around.
The red dollar bit collapsing is like the central kind of currency collapsing.
The stock ticker thing in the middle of the screen with the swords, that's definitely going down.
Yeah, and also the money, the dollar symbol is going down.
Yes.
It's fracturing.
Yes.
It's broken, is what it's saying, right? And so is the justice, like the justice.
I don't know what they call them. There's a name. The thing that, it's something like that.
Yeah, gavel.
That's it.
Yep.
And it's broken. So the actual plate
gavel
that you hit is broken.
So justice is broken.
The justice system's been broken for a long time.
So it's saying that they're just doing whatever they want, despite laws.
Well, there's been a lot of war crimes from everyone in the last few years, and no one does anything about it. The UN just turns the other way and does nothing. So that would make sense. That
So the robots and the mechanical arms, I think that's really interesting. Chips, AI and automation dominance, circuit-like visuals, digital infrastructure becoming central to power. We can see lots of references to chips, satellite dishes,
robots,
digital infrastructure,
AI
robots, very much so, playing a big role here, all around, in between everything. But it's also information warfare, who controls the narrative. There's telephone handsets and wiretapping, which is intelligence gathering, obviously. I think the PlayStation controller connected to an artificial brain wrapped around the sword is very interesting. The West will rely heavily on AI to fight this war, perhaps. That's what it means. The gaming controller, younger generations being recruited into the system. War being gamified and normalised.
Well, it is now. They've basically got people who are really good playing video games controlling the drones.
Yeah, and it's controlling people's minds, right? So
Totally.
they use those.
And it's looped around the money and the
swords and the conflict.
Used like war, all that kind of stuff.
But connected directly to your brain, right?
Yes, totally.
But that's also what they want to do.
It looks like lots of little brains almost.
Yeah,
as well.
like digitally networked together. But it's transhumanism references as well.
Absolutely, that's a big go at the moment. They love their transhumanisation thing, Musk and everyone.
We can't ignore that that's there, with the robots and then the brain and the controller being set together.
Linked, yeah.
But also misinformation and everybody feel like being directed into believing a certain agenda, I guess. Like just the control of that. And they've got the control, it's above Trump.
It's above Trump.
Yeah. But there's lots of pills around the brain, have you noticed that?
Heaps of pills around Trump.
And around the brain and the controller.
Yes.
So that's the reference of mind control using medication, I think. Look at it all around that, around that cord.
I wonder whether the brain, the controller being with Trump, but the Chinese president has the brain on his side, whether that's because basically you've got to use their tech to use AI.
It, and drugs as well.
Yeah.
But see, all around, if you look from the controller, there's all different types of medications going along that cord to that brain. So that's almost how they're going to control. So see, they've got.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I would interpret it as, because mind control and chemical warfare seems to be a really big thing at the moment. Why are all the pills around that cord going to that brain?
Yeah, well, that's probably the most pilly area in the.
And
in the
it's literally
diagram.
following the lead along, isn't it?
Yes,
to
it is. They're
the
all
control.
around it.
Yeah.
And all different ones. So.
All different ways they can medicate people to mind control them, or to change the ability of people's perception, I guess. So it's bigger than we think. Yeah.
And like the highest selling drugs at the moment are like, most things are so new. You don't even know what you're doing at the moment.
Yep.
And everything's bio and
but there's a bigger hand at play with that controller, saying that they can use things to manipulate brains to control the agenda, I guess, and that's pretty scary.
Yeah.
So that's hiding in plain sight, that one.
Yeah, it's very centred. It's like almost the centre of the diagram is the lead and the brain and
the pills.
The cake, yeah.
And then that goes above the stock market notice too, because obviously the stock market
it's running on it's a bubble. It's running on
pharmaceuticals. So all the pills are sitting above it too.
Absolutely, they're the biggest money in the world is AI, chips, and pharma. That's what.
And we can see
war. It's probably the third.
The stock market picture that is very volatile, with the swords across it. You can see a pill on there, a red and white pill.
Red pill, yeah.
So that is interesting. That's like pharmaceutical stocks, because that is obviously a big thing.
Absolutely.
So are you personally comfortable with AI being used to make military decisions? I know I'm not.
No. I don't think even people should be doing it half the time.
I think it makes decisions around shares, it makes decisions around
it controls
pharma,
everything
at the
it
moment.
runs the joint now, and we just like gave it control.
Yeah.
So.
At what point does surveillance cross the line for you personally? That's another question to answer in the comments. So do you think AI will be the biggest story of 2026? I don't think so, when we've looked at what's already unfolded.
No, I think that'll go in the background, and that'll be why that chart goes dumping down. And like at the end of the day, anyone who knows roughly what AI is, it's a large language model. It's not smart. It's got no intelligence. even the robots that they pretend are intelligent, they're controlled by people in VR headsets. It's not automating anything yet. We're probably 2030 until they get those robots right and they can actually walk around doing stuff that might be intelligent. But yeah, don't fear AI. It's a load of bollocks. Everyone was sold a big hype, and it worked. A lot of people got rich. And language models have been around since like the 50s or 60s. They've just improved them slightly, but it's AI is what it is.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting too that there's a combination of different technologies. So we've obviously got advanced automated dog robot type things walking around and robots.
And there's a few of them. There's some down here.
Some down on the outside at the bottom. Robots that are obviously walking with packages, militarized weapons, all of those kind of things. But then you've got old school tech like walkie-talkies, radios, military coordination. So that's interesting too. So there's like old tech and new tech kind of coming together. Yeah. So they're still relying on old tech as well.
I wonder with the drones, like if you look around the edge here, why have they got a cord connected to something? Like drones wouldn't normally have a cord, but these drones, all these ones are connected to the ground for some reason. I'm not really sure why that is. Yeah. And even down here, down the bottom, there's more.
They are connected.
So that's weird. They wouldn't be connected, they're drones. So I don't know what the reference is for the drones being connected. I'm not really sure.
Yep.
Maybe that's that kind of future and old tech. Maybe
the
older drones that are still like need people to run it.
Yep.
Maybe it's proving that they're tethered to someone that has to run them so they can't just fly that far without someone.
And
I don't know.
That's the big one, isn't it? So, walkie-talkies, radios are very interesting, I think. But also, where we're looking at satellites and things like that, they're kind of positioned above everything. They don't just watch the battlefield, they watch you as well. So it's us being surveilled, perhaps. Telephone handsets, wiretapping, intelligence gathering, and back-channel details being made while the public watches the theatre. Yeah, and again, going back to the red balloons, talking about the Chinese spy balloon incident, which was surveillance disguised as something harmless. So when the balloon pops, everything escalates. That's another take on it.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
You just keep staring because you just
There's
keep
so
seeing
much more that you see.
Yeah.
So do you think the spy balloon incident was as innocent as we were told?
Well, I don't even know. I didn't really follow that. I found that really dumb. Like, if it
seems
was
like
off
a
threat, you just
distraction.
shoot it down, but they didn't. So,
Yeah.
like, the fog of war, the amount of lies when there's a war going on is chronic, but normally we're just lied to as well. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know about the whole Chinese thing. They never really released much info after the fact when they did shoot one down or it fell out of the sky or whatever. They didn't really talk about it much. So, yeah, I almost feel like that was a load of bullshit.
But it's interesting that we've got balloons in this picture.
There are a lot of balloons in this picture.
And that did happen. So why else would there be balloons on the cover unless it was about surveillance and spying?
I'd personally expect that those balloons should have like some sort of tech tied to the bottom of them if it was going to be a spy balloon over just a random balloon. But I don't know why there is random balloons.
Yeah.
Like the cake, I get it. If that was a cake, it's a party. Balloons are at parties. But then there's red balloons right down the bottom.
And in the middle.
And near the middle.
Near the stock area too.
So what's the red balloons? Anyone, give us your take.
Well, I think red being in China too, like, being communist as a colour.
Yes. Well, it is next to their president.
So that's right next to China. That's why I thought, it seemed to be the Chinese surveillance thing.
I don't know why there's one down the bottom,
Yeah.
right down the bottom.
Maybe they're looking everywhere.
Maybe.
Like they're following even basic
Well, that'd be Antarctica, that balloon.
Well, that's a very interesting place, that one, isn't it?
Well,
with the ice caps, the whole lie about the melting and So where do you personally go to find news that you actually trust? Is there anything that you can go to where you can get trustful news?
Not really.
No.
Not anymore. I don't even know if there ever was.
So the economy and trade, I think, gets referenced here a lot. So we know the whole war reference, we've got lots of power reference, technology reference, pharma reference, but there's also a lot of economy references too. And like with the shipping container, the ornate Viking type ship, global trade and supply chains under deliberate threat is what it looks to be like with the false flag you mentioned of the shipping supply ship shooting.
Yeah.
Right? international shipping will be disrupted to create shortages everywhere, maybe.
Well, we're already getting that.
Yeah, well, that's...
I've got a lot of pain coming. It's been
Yes.
funny watching, if you've seen kind of the main media don't talk about it, but we get this war, and then just by chance, say, Australia's largest fertilising plant, apparently it had a blackout which put it down for the next 2 months, just by chance. Then Texas oil refinery, their biggest oil refinery in America, catches on fire 2 days later. Like we've had a lot of weird stuff going on in the background, like apart from the war. Sure, 20% of the world's oil's not getting through, but LPG isn't getting out either, which is where it all comes from. So there's all these kind of problems now coming into the supply chain, which seem to almost be deliberately done by either it's, people infiltrating, like setting off the Texas thing, deliberately downing our fertilizer factory, but no one seems to be saying any of it's was suspicious. But I'm really suspicious. How come when this all happens, supply chains are about to fail, there's suddenly everything gets affected? All the other refineries are now on fire for no reason. And fertiliser, you almost can't get any of that. So that means that by the end of this year, farmers, if they don't have fertiliser, we don't have food.
Well, that's the big thing.
It's
and
bigger
the
than
supply
oil.
chains too, trying to get stuff over.
Well, we've got no oil. You can't
We can't move
anything.
Yeah,
So,
especially in all over the world where we rely on trucks to deliver
absolutely.
food supply,
And once it seizes up, that's it. It's catastrophic because once there's not enough diesel to run the ships and the trucks, well, that's it. It's
You're
over.
screwed, yeah.
And then when the farmers aren't able to grow any food, even if they can get oil back online, everyone starts panicking, realises how dumb we all are for letting such stuff happen all the time. And then we panic, and it'd take 6 months to something to get it all back online.
Get it all back.
And by then, that's too late. I'd say the population would be a tenth of what it is now. But maybe that's the plan.
Maybe. Yeah. So stacked red. Did you notice the red crates were red and blue on the ship as well?
Yes,
that
they're a mixed colour again. Yeah.
So it wasn't just one
No, they're not
country's
just all
ships
red,
on one side.
signaling China or something. It's definitely like a mix.
So that would tell me weapons stockpiling, maybe, and supply issues that way.
Yeah,
So
possibly.
historical cycles repeating, stacked red block crates, that type of thing. Maybe sanctions busting trade routes, but we know trade routes are being busted anyway by the war. The graph and the arrows and the currency symbols showing extreme market volatility. That one is right in the centre of the whole image. And so that's going to dominate 2026 is what it's kind of saying, is market volatility.
And the date, I'm taking that
Under the
250th
date,
birthday,
yeah.
4th of July. I'm going off this
False
cover.
flag
I'm
type
going to assume
stuff,
false
yeah.
flag and economy will be in the toilet, and the 4th of July might just be the kicker. So around there. So maybe we're about 2 months away from seeing the market start to slide and
the chaos of the civil unrest,
attacks.
because that's the people, the fist rising up is the liberty and the freedom, right? But they're shackled. So it's like they're going to rise up, the people, I think, of America. There's been a lot of prophecy around or predictions around civil unrest in America based on what's happening.
And look, I've had a few comments from doing another decode of Americans getting, up my bum and saying, could never happen, no one will attack us. And I'm like, stranger things have happened. But it's this kind of thing where it's like, America's no different to anywhere else, and I think they're more offensive. They're not very defensive. Australia's not very defensive either. We don't have guns down the coast to stop people coming near us and stuff. We don't have any of that stuff, and I don't know if America does either. I think most of their good stuff's posted overseas where they're warring or whatever. So yeah, I think America is. It's tricky because the Americans get on and they're like. A lot of them just don't understand what a civil war is. I think it's the problem, because they're like the Marines will take care of it, and I'm like, oh no, this is a civil war. The Marines are probably the ones shooting you. That's probably what happens.
Well, it might be you
it
divided
might be
in
your
your
army
country
against you, and sure, you might have a lot of guns, but that's what a civil war is. The civil war's not when you're fighting Iran. So a lot of people just saying anything about civil war in America, obviously it gets them upset, which I'm not trying to deliberately upset them. We're just talking about what other predictions have spoken about, not my personal opinion.
Yeah.
But my personal opinion is that a civil war will be people who get sick of the war pushing back on government, and just the public rises up as a peaceful kind of rising.
Fist too,
Yeah, and they're sick of the war, and they're sick of being, paying $2,000 for a litre of fuel and having no food. And the anti-war movement would be a civil war in America. That's what'll come. You know, in the past, it could have been a Black Lives Matter one or something, but it never happened.
But civil rises do happen, but this looks very big, and it looks like
Really
a really big fist
Massive
coming
fist.
up saying
Massive fist.
no more. And that means too volatility around, you know, stock markets with the swords crossing. It's not just the war overseas, it's also the internal war, because it's right under the cake as well.
Absolutely. And a lot of missiles coming off different places on this map. But I wonder if it's significant that the biggest missiles, which would be typically American, are right behind the birthday cake. They're making a lot of red fire near the birthday cake. I wonder if that's implying that America actually uses big missiles like nukes. Do nukes exist?
Possibly.
I've got to be careful when I say nukes. People get angry and say, no, there's no such thing as nukes. Like, fair enough, you're allowed to think that. And I don't even know what I think.
Actually.
I think it's probably a hoax nukes. I'm not really sure. I've never seen one myself, so I'm not really sure. It's like aliens. I've never seen one, so I don't really know.
The graph sitting directly under the swords obviously implies that the markets are into chaos due to the war. And the 250 birthday cake at the centrepiece is obviously, as we've said, America's 250th anniversary in 2026. Americans are shown handcuffed to this cake, still enslaved and chained to a corrupt system after 250 years. So the lone figure standing at the cake, isolated, surrounded by chaos. They didn't choose this. This is the average citizen. The dollar begins to crack later in the year. So you see that dollar cracking later under the gavel, and military artillery full of cracks as well around that, which around the bottom, underneath the birthday and underneath the stock market and everything, there are cracks everywhere.
Well, there's that money. There's a big money symbol
and the
there.
gavel, so that's the legal system.
Under the legal system, so it cracks, then the dollar cracks, and then we've got robots again, straight under that.
Yeah, and even the shares being printed or whatever, they're all like X's on
paper
them, like there
shares.
is none.
Well, the X could be voting.
Could be voting, like a ballot.
That's a person.
Could be a ballot.
And I think the X would mean maybe it's a donkey vote, maybe it's like a fraudulent voting.
And it looks like it's red, so it looks like they're voting
it's a bad
for red.
thing, bad X. So that looks like a voting chaos thing going on.
Possibly.
I don't know if that guy with there is anything of significance. To me, he's supposed to just look like the general public. Yeah, he's just a normal guy, no tie, no suit. So some sort of voting fraud, maybe.
Arbitrary, You
know, at first when I first skimmed it, I thought it was a money printing machine or something. But I'm like, oh no, that'd be definitely voting box, a ballot box or whatever. And again, next to the money, all that kind of stuff floating around it, and the broken money.
Yep.
And then he's got syringes next to him, which always annoys me.
Yeah, well,
very big syringes too, like they're big.
That's next to missiles too, which is interesting.
Missiles and syringes.
Which I think we'll get to in a minute. But the main thing was talking about how it literally in succession goes from volatility around the war, around the celebration, like under that time as later in the year goes. We've got bloodshed too, signified by the wine being spilled.
Yeah, there's a few wines.
A lot of bloodshed, and that
about
seems
to spill. Be... How many? I can see 2.
And they seem to be happening later on, like at the bottom.
Yes, they're further down, less significant.
Yeah, but still happening around the time of the dollar breaking and the legal system breaking down.
Yeah.
The authority breaking down. So bloodshed happening. And notice how some of those robot things are all coloured red as well.
Yeah, some are red. Well, the majority of
those dog
robot
ones are.
Yeah,
and the robots, which is interesting.
I'm just trying to find. There's only little crappy ones that are blue.
Really tiny
like really
ones.
Small drones under Trump, and near the dollar sign, that's like a drone with wheels, and it's a crappy one. It's like a normal mounted machine gun on it, not high tech. It's crappy and it's blue. A crappy blue tank, and then over underneath the red tanks, which does have a crappy gun on it as well. There's like a blue one with a bomb strapped to it with little wheels. And they to me look really old-fashioned crap. And then you've got, red ones. You've got
really
red things which are high-tech, like robots that are walking around carrying things and stuff.
Possibly Elon Musk.
And the dogs are red and stuff, which would imply maybe China and maybe that America's drone capabilities are actually a bit backward, which would make sense.
But then I'm looking at the colour of Trump and he's red, and so is Xi, and all their weapons are red.
And there's no doubting that's Trump. He's got a red cap.
Oh, yes, it's Trump.
So it's definitely Trump. There's that's the only thing I can guarantee.
And Xi is
Zelensky.
I can see Netanyahu and
I can see
Putin,
Netanyahu.
though.
What do you guys think? Is that Netanyahu standing next to Putin? I reckon it is. But could it be someone else?
Who?
I don't know. I'm not sure. But to me it is. But maybe other people know more.
So the military artillery full of cracks as well. The industrial military supply chain will break down under the strain of multiple simultaneous wars wars. Sorry. So Americans being shown like the handcuffed energy with the fist of representing the Americans, I guess, and their freedom.
The people, yeah.
Yeah, handcuffed to a 250-year-old birthday cake. What does that image make you think of as the audience? What do you think? And are you personally taking any steps yourself to prepare for economic instability that's upcoming in 2026? And obviously international shipping being disrupted, which we can see the cracks of that happening already. What do you think disappears from the shelves first? Do we think it's toilet paper this time?
Yeah, it'll be toilet paper. Oh, God.
Are you holding any assets?
Chocolate, Tim Tams and toilet paper. The teas.
Are you holding any assets outside of the traditional banking system right now?
Yeah, I'd be, yeah. Well, look, see, that's the thing. There's, no matter what happens with this, there's people who know, like the people who read this magazine, will just always make money because they'll short everything as it goes down the toilets and all that kind of stuff.
Just looking at the images again, because there's so much that comes in.
Going on.
So busy, isn't it? It's deliberately made to make you think about.
And it definitely looks like climate change's got like the back seat.
I reckon it's later in the year they're going to pull it.
Well, there's a couple of ice cubes melting here and there. There's one that's kind of flying.
So they're still going to do the agenda, is what that's telling me. It's still the basis of everything.
But it's definitely not prominent. There is, like, normally these magazine covers will have quite a lot about climate change because that's what we're getting pushed to all the time. You know, we're bad and cow farted and whatever. But this one's very much just a couple of water cubes melting.
Well, that's telling us they're still going to use the ice cap agenda, though. That's still going to be.
They can't ditch it.
The basis of things.
Look like they were tricking us all if they just ditched it.
And
I think even our Prime Minister said that the other day. He said if we stop doing climate change, it'll look like it was all a lie.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess we're going to talk more now about society and culture and people in suits versus casual figures. The class divide is widening. So, I guess that's interesting too, is the different clothing that they're all wearing. So the people in power are wearing suits.
Always suits.
And we've got our citizen with the voting ballot just wearing normal clothes.
And of course Zelensky just wears normal stuff. He just wears army clothes everywhere he goes. He looks way underdressed for his job. I don't know why he looks like he's a bum on the streets, but that's his style.
And apparently. I can't see any other people apart from the soccer players and
well
the boxing
no
players.
There's some sports people, which is really I don't get the sports thing, like the FIFA World Cup is in a couple of months, so the guy down the bottom there kicking the soccer ball, which almost is like he launched the whole thing, like there's a lot of
when
power.
The World Cup happens though, maybe
like, see
timing.
this guy down the bottom,
so
he's got like a massive kick, so he like he kicked it, and it's got all that power, like the.
Does that tell you timing, maybe of the World Cup, which is June, July, which is around the time of the 250 as well?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Is
where
that
it
interesting?
Kicks off,
Clicks
kind
off.
Of thing.
Yeah, that's
and
what I see it as kicking off.
He's a red guy, so he's not white.
So he's Trump's colours.
The guy who's just at the ballot box just has a normal white shirt, which I expect to be normal. But the soccer player is still dressed in red, you know, and like that kind of thing. So I don't know why there's a runner and boxers, though. I'm not 100% because there's no Olympics this year.
No, so I think it's FIFA World Cup for sure.
But why are there boxers? Could that just be a referee?
There might be a massive boxing. We don't follow boxing.
Yeah, true. There
might be a big fight.
And there's a guy running as well.
Like if we remember...
the runner could be soccer still.
It could be soccer. It looks like he's soccer still. I think he is.
Soccer, but the boxers...
Because he's running the ball where the guy's kicked, I think.
Oh, and then there's a javelin thrower and a skier.
Yes, there is.
But there is Winter Olympics.
We've already had that.
Yeah, so that's over, which is like... And that's sort of... would make sense that guy's right down the bottom and insignificant on the edge of the map, the skier, because it didn't matter. It's like nothing happened around that time, which is about right.
But it was also the planning was going on for this Iran war during the Winter Olympics earlier in the year. And that was the distraction. So everybody's following sports and distracted by what's actually really going on.
That's what they do it for.
So the Winter Olympics, that's that reference with the skiing and the javelin throwing, I think. And then the other ones, boxing might be a big boxing event that we don't know about. If you know about boxing and you know there's a big fight that's everyone was following, put it in the comments. But the FIFA World Cup seems to be when everything kicks off. I can't think of any other reason.
And the 250, 4th of July. So
and it's around June, July.
So we're talking middle of the year. So we're a couple of months off. We're into the 4th month of the year today kind of areas in the first week of it.
So spring in America and autumn here in the Southern Hemisphere. But the interesting thing is too is that sport is probably being used as geopolitical and cultural distraction. keeps the masses focused on the game, especially that it is the timing, the World Cup around the 250.
Yeah. Very significant
So there'll be
time.
a lot of people will, because it's a very big game. A lot of people follow the World Cup, especially in Europe and South
mainly
America,
Europe,
and there's a lot of the world follow it.
Oh yeah, I think it's some of the biggest views in the world for an event, for a sporting event.
Even
I think it
Australia's
can do more
taken
than
off.
the Olympics. It's so crazy.
Even Australia's taken off with World Cup recently. Like we've been promoting it more.
Yeah.
So maybe so that we can be distracted as well. I don't know.
Well, if the Iran war keeps going and the Straits closed in 2 months' time, you can guarantee half of this stuff will be true, especially the stock market side of it and that kind of thing. Because, if that doesn't sort itself out, like we were talking about before, supply chains are a big problem. And this one, I'm not seeing a lot of stuff about that. I'm seeing just war and the typical club all doing their thing, the leaders all, pretty much conspiring and going along with whatever's going on, because none of them are at odds with each other, really.
So I just realised as well, like around with the injections, the
big needles,
that there is also the biotech and weight loss drugs that are big at the moment with money making. So they are huge.
And they
so
are an injectable.
They are an
aren't they?
injectable. Yeah, syringes are clearly visible, but maybe it's also showing the truth about injuries to do with certain things that represent that device with a needle on top. And the truth might come out about that. So, vaccine injuries may come out in the news as well, and they're clearly visible.
And even though the syringes are big, to me, where they sit, it's down low, so that's not significant. So the needles being really large, to me, say it is significant.
Yes.
Yet because it's down at the bottom of the globe, it's not going to be seen as significant.
But could it be later in life? Could it be
maybe later in the year?
Time? I feel like this is a bit of a time map that goes on as well.
Yeah, and
a seasonal map. If you have a look at it too,
there's leaves on the
there's autumn.
Leaves, which is autumn. So, and this would be based on America's autumn,
which
not
would be
ours.
Past September.
So,
so that's telling us, because middle of the year is the
250.
So that seems to be
and
where
then the leaves are falling,
which is after that.
So autumn's coming
after July,
and then
because it's their summer in July.
Yeah.
And our winter. So that's when they're having the big 250 celebration.
Yeah.
But then as time goes on, there's bloodshed around autumn.
Yeah.
Because the wine glasses are spilling and there's needles, so it could be that too.
And almost back to the climate change
back
too.
To that.
We'll be pushed back into, we got to worry about that because,
the agenda's got to be followed for Agenda 30, so they're implementing all of that.
Totally.
But it's interesting that autumn is referenced there, or is it leaves for sustainability too? Who knows?
Well, it could be a bit of that, but to me, I'm going autumn because leaves aren't really something you refer to with climate change.
So I think if you look at the dollar cracking, it seems to be around autumn. The leaves are around the dollar as well.
Yeah.
Aren't they? Like they're definitely near that dollar. And we've got robotics coming in around autumn as well.
Yeah, there's lots of robots.
Lots of
down
them
the bottom.
coming out.
And they're the higher tech ones.
They look pretty ominous though. They don't look very nice.
No, they don't look friendly.
No, and I think more injectables and more rockets being launched. Are they missile rockets?
They're missile. Yeah. They're not moon rockets. They're all weapon ones.
It looks like a lot of bloodshed. with the wine glasses spilling on each side, maybe because it's on two sides of the globe.
Yeah, that's it. It's like all over the place that we.
Yeah, which isn't nice.
And the dollar cracking down there too.
Yeah,
like
near the bloodshed.
The stock market in the middle going down.
It's volatile.
Makes sense for timing too because it takes a while to trickle through where the dollar actually loses its proper strength.
Yes, and the legal system cracking.
And the legal system cracking, like the dollar only exists in our society because we have confidence in it.
Yep.
And if the legal system breaks as well, to do even with money or war crime or whatever it is, we lose confidence and then the dollar would crack and break. And there's a lot of pressure on the dollar at the moment for obvious reasons. But so a very interesting cover, a lot to it. There's probably 10, 20 things we haven't seen or, again, people we don't know. So feel free to tell us
if you
what you
definitely
can see.
Yeah.
Because there's, a fair few references I'm not getting. And do you think we're roughly right with the timing kind of aspect of it?
Yeah. We're not sure. So we're interested in what you all have to say. But the other thing I personally have noticed is all of the kind of rough terrain where the bloodshed is. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
And I wonder on the side, on the like the left side of where we're looking, there's that wine glass and it's rough terrain. Does that mean that there's natural disasters because there's an ice cube there as well?
Yeah.
Does that mean bloodshed around a natural disaster in the fog of war, perhaps?
Yeah. Well, and the ground there could just be from the tank ripping it all up.
Could be, or an earthquake or something like that. But it seems to be the ice caps are there, like the ice is melting, so it could be like flooding references, bloodshed and rough terrain.
That ice is weird because it's got like
coming from the sky.
Yeah, like it's flying or being thrown or something because it's got like the dots in front of it and it's leaking behind.
Could that be geoengineering in the sky? Like, could that be like,
I don't know.
Like ice,
I don't know. I don't know why ice would be flying, but
it's going into their autumn, which would mean, could be snowy terrain too, but it definitely looks like ice, maybe a very cold winter.
I find that one weird. That one's weird. And what's this guy over here? Oh, that just looks like he's got an old school weapon, like a bazooka thing or whatever. Yeah,
and it's the blue side, so there's more high tech on the red side of things.
And I do take the silhouette that goes around the edge that's not filled in, so all the stuff that's on the outside of the globe, I take that as like that there's also disaster on the other side of the planet. There's also shit going on the other side of the planet with tanks and pills and the robots. So it's almost like if this was facing America, around the edges, Asia and everywhere else has still got problems. And it's still like there's fires and explosions and satellites and planes and all sorts of crap around the edge. So it kind of implies...
It's a very intense cover though, isn't it?
It is.
And they even say it on their in their writing. They write the global economy is a crisis brewing. Like, of course it is, and they would know because they're part of the control of all of this. Like they manufacture all of this, don't they?
Absolutely.
They're the wealthy ones behind the scenes. But I think the other one too, with their old school boat, is like wealthy Arabs sailing away because they're in traditional dress as well.
Yes.
And fleeing, like you said, fleeing the Middle East turmoil with their fortunes intact while everyone else is left behind, maybe. So, I guess some audience questions for you guys would be red pill, blue pill or black pill. Which one, honestly, do you think they're trying to say is the truth pill and which one is the manufactured one? And
I hope people take the red pill.
Yeah.
The red pill would be good. I think a lot of people need to chew on a bit of red pill. And also, just going back to the guys on the boat, if they were fleeing, I would kind of expect them going towards America, but they're sort of going north.
Yeah.
Past the cake, past all the missiles, they're heading away.
They seem to be fleeing.
And not to America by the look of it.
No, fleeing away.
Maybe Switzerland or somewhere else where you don't pay any tax.
Well, they're heading towards Ukraine because there's Zelensky. Maybe
that's almost past it. So he's still left there by himself, with kind of all the standard money around him and tanks around him.
It is interesting that he's dressed in blue, though. It is interesting, the same
They'd
as
probably make him green if they could, because he always just wears army clothes.
They're showing their colours, like they're doing their divide of, I think that's Putin, that guy next to what I think is Netanyahu, and I think Zelensky is wearing blue.
So did you guys ever see where Zelensky came from, just on a side note?
Yes, that show.
What was it called again?
The president, the last president. No, it was something.
No. Oh, man.
It's a show. I can look it up quickly.
Yeah, look it up quickly. So Zelensky used to be an actor, just in case you didn't know where he came from. And he had a show, which we're quickly looking up the reference to. And we watched it, and he became the Ukrainian president.
It
was on in Australia. It was on normal channels.
Servant of the People.
That's it.
2015 to 2019 Ukrainian political satire sitcom, starring Zelensky as a high school teacher who unexpectedly becomes the president
of Ukraine.
Of the Ukraine.
But you can't write scripts as obvious as this. Zelensky literally was an actor doing that job, and as soon as he finished doing the filming for 3 years or whatever, of acting as though he was the president of Ukraine, they made him the president of Ukraine. That's crazy. Like, if you're bored, go and look that up. That'll rabbit hole you for the rest of the week. It's crazy.
Interesting.
That's not the only weird thing he did when he was acting. He did a lot of weird acting, like very strange little man, that one. I don't know.
Another one is the X on the ballot box. So that one that with the voting.
I reckon that's voter fraud, personally. That's my feel of that.
I'm wondering if it's a red X, does that mean that it's going to be fraudulently that Trump gets his third term that he keeps talking about that's illegal?
He looks like he's just becoming a dictator and saying he's staying.
He's got his hand over
he's
there.
He's like, nah, I'm just here now. That's what you get, sucked in.
So
Suckers.
Do you genuinely believe your vote still counts? That's a question.
Well, that's a really big question. That's a really big one.
I know, I don't think that.
No, I don't think my vote counts. If we didn't get fined in Australia for voting, I wouldn't vote. And the only way I'd vote, and everyone take pens, by the way, stop voting in pencils. They supply pencils in Australia for a good bloody reason. Take your own pens and mark them yourself so they can't be rubbed out. You know, it's pretty obvious when they're using pencils in 2026, we got a problem here. Don't just concentrate on America, Australians. We've got our own shit going on here we need to sort out. But anyway.
And another question is, can you think of a recent example where a major sporting event was used to distract from something bigger happening in the world?
Bloody hell, every weekend in Australia.
Yeah.
Everyone, all they care about is football. AFL, league, union, whatever. And they just run off and watch that all weekend and that's all that happens. And, you know, they'll complain when the toilet paper runs out, but they'll still have the radio on, even if the TV signal ran out, listening to the football. It's so Australian.
So I think we have to also look at the fact that there are, in the middle, just under the 250, there are tanks appearing, which basically shows that ground war escalation is possible. And this isn't just airstrikes and drones, there's boots on the ground, and this may be part of the plan. There are drones scattered throughout the entire image, but modern warfare has shifted to unmanned combat, but there are definitely tanks coming.
There's more money made in traditional war, and like America and Russia and China, everyone, they still make a lot of traditional war products like tanks, which have become obsolete. But because of the war contracts, they'll just keep making them because people make money. They don't give a shit whether it works or not. That's not their problem. It's about overpriced bits of metal and selling it to someone. So it's of no surprise that tanks are still being manufactured, even though they shouldn't be anymore. And they should be autonomous. Well, like one tank, like a big proper tank like that, costs so many millions, ridiculous amounts, so much resource, but you could make them 20 times smaller, 20 times faster, put wings on them or have them tracked and have no people in them. And that's where war's going. So I think it's the clash. We're seeing the clash of the old school weaponry versus the new.
Yep.
And obviously there's a lot more drones around. There's ground war. Because that's the thing, you've still got to put boots on the ground if you want to invade someone. So you can't
remember
just drone
at the
them to
time
death.
of this magazine, it was done in 2025.
Yeah,
so
in
end
December.
Of 25.
So I think it was like the 7th of December. It came out, normally it came out on something like the 18th or something, but it came out on like the 7th or 8th of December, which was early, very early. So they were like rushing to get this out for people to see it. So that was kind of interesting too. And again, if you're if you've only just rolled on in and don't even know what we're talking about for The Economist, where it came from and that kind of thing.
Ahead.
Yeah, so the year ahead. So The Economist is a magazine run by the Rothschild family mainly, but they've just sold a massive stake in it. We were saying before, it's worth like £500 million revenue a year, so it makes a lot of money. So obviously a lot of people read this, and like I don't know anyone personally who's ever bought The Economist. Like again in the comments, have you actually seen one in real life? Because I don't know where they sell them, but apparently they sell up to £500 million, pounds worth, which is like $800 million Australian or something.
How much do they cost?
I don't know. I've never bought one, and they don't have a price on the front, so I don't even know where they get them from. Maybe that's where all the Masonic lodges. Maybe that's where you go and get them. I don't know. I've never seen one at a newsagent.
So I guess the at that time in December 2025, when you're looking at things like the war that you can't see already underway, drones, satellites, and missiles showing hitting cargo ships. So, deliberately targeting global supply lines as a weapon of war, which we know is happening through Hormuz and all of that now.
Absolutely.
And the industrial military supply chain is already under strain. So that's what we can see with them shooting the missiles out and things like that, but also all of those weapons trying to contain it and trying to, keep the supply chain going. But I think it's all a bit of a hoax.
Everything is.
Personally.
Everything is. War's a trick.
Yeah.
It's a banker's war, and they're just tricksters, and they just want to send your kids out to it to never come home again. And people do it. People are very proud of their kids never coming home again. It's kind of weird.
But it's almost like we already knew that the war was going to be. They already knew, obviously, the war was underway when they published this cover.
Now, would you say that this is depicting at all a world war? I don't really see it. I don't really see anything saying that this is a world war. It just looks like it's more about, looks like economy. It looks like
Well, there
robotics
seems to be lots
and
of
stuff.
powerful figureheads.
The figureheads are there, but
So that's the world, really.
yeah, but I'm not. Yeah, I don't know. There are big explosions here and there, and they are again around the edge, as though they're not even all like it's everywhere. But I don't know. I don't get that vibe off it. If they were trying to portray that this is like the beginning of Third World War or anything like that, I'm not seeing it personally. I'm not really sure. But again, what do you guys think? Do you reckon this climate that we're in at the moment has the possibility of becoming a extended kind of war involving more countries? I know a lot of countries are on edge at the moment, but being quite quiet about it. Like Australia, we haven't joined, we haven't done anything, but we also haven't run out of oil 100% yet. So I don't know what we'd do if we did that. Would we send ships to do something about it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to know. But I think most of these people are all in the same club anyway. So it's like, whatever the Rothschild magazine decide, they probably have to read this cover over, every day to get the idea of what their job is this year. I don't know.
I think what's interesting is I just noticed at the top where they've got the writing summarising some of the things. And it says weight loss drugs in there, the next generation.
Oh, right. They actually mentioned it.
I didn't realise that.
Read that out so everyone can see what the top of the magazine
so
says.
So it says geopolitical drift opportunities for China, which is interesting.
Which is all that red stuff.
And China red, Trump red, so that's very interesting. After Gaza, outlook for the Middle East. So they reference the Middle East directly.
And Gaza's over. They've said that that's not happening anymore.
Beyond Ukraine, Russia's next moves. The global economy, is a crisis brewing? Sporting values, political football, which is interesting.
Yeah, all right. That makes a bit of sense.
And weight loss drugs, the next generation.
Well, that's what the farmer was then. So it was Zempic and what's the other one called? It starts with M or something.
Manjaro.
Manjaro, yeah.
Yeah, Manjaro, and there's also Wegovy as well.
It's crazy how many people are on it.
And they're
again, new drugs. I'm kind of personally wary with that kind of thing.
So the other, I guess that really what we've got to try to look at is what's already happened. And I think we can break down already that, America and Israel attacked Iran, so we know that that's already happened. There's a war underway. The shipping supply chain is already happening, so we know that that's already occurred.
Yeah,
so
totally.
These things are already undergoing. They're already happening. So we're probably at the top of the map if we're looking at it from timelines. I don't know if it is like that. I think it's all kind of mixed up. But it just seems interesting that there's almost like a bit of an order to this with time.
Yes, there is. And it's kind of inside, outside as well.
Inside,
so it seems to be...
like out and in.
Top to bottom is your timeline, and importance is from the middle out.
Yeah.
So it sort of seems to be how this one's gone. So anyway, if you like this kind of decode, let us know. And if you have anything that you think would be an interesting decode, anything, it doesn't really matter, anything of interest. We're always interested to learn new things as well. So I appreciate comments where people lead me on rabbit hole searches, because some of them have been really interesting, and it gives us, content. We've got a lot of our own crazy ideas, but it's always nice to know what you guys think and what your crazy ideas might be decoded. And, if you want us to do that kind of thing, again, let us know.
Yeah, thanks for watching.